Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we discuss the Patek Philippe Aquanaut travel time, reference 5164R-001. The Aquanaut travel time debuted in 2011, and it helped to give the Aquanaut line, constantly in the shadow of the Nautilus, its own identity, as there was no directly equivalent Nautilus travel time model at the time. So this watch was a bit of a breakthrough for the Aquanaut line, and it remains one of the most desirable and versatile Patek watches you can buy for its combination of elegance, durability, and polyvalent functions. Let's talk about the size. In rose gold, 40.8 millimeters. It is 10.4 millimeters thickened from lug tip to lug tip, 47.5 millimeters, with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and get a good look at it. Lug to lug, it's actually fairly short across the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, so you get a sense of the scale. I believe down to 15 centimeters, you're going to wear this watch fine. It is fairly flat. It's not super thin, but with a sloped bezel and a relatively thin profile, all things considered, it will slide underneath a dress cuff. Now, the reason the watch doesn't wear quite as small as the 47.5 millimeter lug to lug dimension is because of this strap. Patek calls it composite, I call it rubber. All the same, it is very stiff. And while that means it's durable and destined to be a long-lasting piece, you can't pull it straight down out of the lugs. It arcs out and flares no matter how tightly you tension it. The Aquanaut was created with the strap back in 1997 when the first one bowed. It was designed to be a more stripped-down, casual, and youthful alternative to the Nautilus, and also a more affordable one. Well, no Patek sports watch is, quote, affordable today, but it remains youthful and effervescent, as we have that combination of the rose gold with a rubber strap matching the geosphere cut of the dial. It's got a bit of a raffish sort of irreverence to it, a precious metal Patek on a rubber strap. Back in 1997, that was revolutionary. Now, the strap itself is fully integrated, which means it matches the curve of the case and the slope of the lugs, so it's as integrated and seamless as if it were on a bracelet. You can also appreciate that it is a fairly thick strap, so while it does feature perforations, pre-scoring to allow you to cut it to length, it is a substantial piece that's likely never to wear through. Now, of course, this is an uncut strap. We will cut it to match your wrist size. And it includes a lovely double deployant clasp with twin trigger release. And you can see internally a little bit of a Calatrava cross motif. And when you close the buckle, you can see externally the cross. Again, that is the logo of the manufacturer. Press the trigger and it pops open. The chassis and the swing arm fully polished internally. The watch has a case band that has a handsome symmetry to it, as the travel time pushers over at 9 o'clock mirror the crown guard structure, so it's beautifully balanced from side to side. Screw down crown, 120 meter water resistance, and truth be told, the Aquanaut case is not quite as complex as the Nautilus. That's partly responsible for the price delta, but on the other hand, it's less fiddly, easier to keep clean, and there's a strength in its simplicity. The lugs are highly angular, with a bevel on their side, polish on their top, and satin on the flank of the case. The travel time adjusters are polished. The crown is polished, has a Calatrava cross. There's a little pusher adjuster for the radial date indication. And if you do not want to have a second time zone visible on the dial, you don't need to. Because it's in a 12-hour format, all you do is hide the reference hour hand with the local hour hand, and the two will stay superimposed until you want to track a second time zone. Now, unlike most travel time watches, we have a day-night indicator for both the home and the reference time. That's how the 12-hour format hands are able to give you complete information about whether, for example, it's close to 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. Now, let's talk a little bit about the dial base. It's sort of brown bronze sunburst metallic with applique rose gold numerals and rose gold hands. We'll do a quick loom shot. Aquanauts are famously easy to read in the dark, partly because both the indices and the numerals are luminescent. And the watch has a white varnished, counterweighted Lancet style seconds hand. We will demonstrate that the watch does not feature hacking or stop seconds, but folks who know these caliber 324s understand that just a little bit of back pressure can be used to hack the movement and effectively stop the seconds hand unless you want it to proceed forwards. The best thing to do is just set the watch precisely, stall the watch 1 minute ahead of the current time, wait for the time to catch up, release the back pressure, and now you've effectively synchronized the watch. On the reverse side, caliber 324 automatic winding, unidirectional winding with ceramic rotor bearings, 45-hour power reserve, 8 beats per second. It is adjusted 6 positions, and in combination with the Gyromax free-sprung balance, the Patek Philippe seal, and the anti-magnetic silicone hairspring, these features combined result in a Patek Philippe attestation of no worse than -3 + 2 seconds per day of timing precision. The single barrel movement pivots on 29 jewels, and it is handsomely decorated. There's always a balance between hand finish and machine finish on mass market movements, even from Patek Philippe, but I find on balance there is more hand finishing on a Patek movement than you'll find on equivalent high horology houses like, for example, Audemars Piguet or Jaeger-LeCoultre, where the machine takes the lead here, particularly when you look at the bevels. There's no doubt that they're started using some sort of a milling tool, but then they're finished by hand tools to create the rounded mirrored edge. We have Côte de Genève circular on the rotors, linear across the bridges and perfectly aligned. We have engine turning on the center of the rotor on the click wheel, the reduction wheel and clutch system adjacent for the winding system. Big perlage on the base plate. We have those mirrored bevels, black polished screws with chamfered slots and circumference. You can see the locating pegs for the balance cock have been polished on their top. And we have set nation on all the wheels. It is a good-looking movement and handsomely executed. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Aquanaut travel time.